up, YouTube family? We're back with another subscriber first wholesale deal interview. Today I got Antonio. He's just 19, closed 5 deals already. Antonio, how much is your first wholesale deal?
13,000.
How much your second one?
15,000.
Third?
14,000.
Fourth?
15,000.
And fifth?
5,000.
Boom! Dude, congrats, bro. Man, I was just asking you, man. So how quick did it take you to close your first deal?
Well, actually, the first deal, I was under a mentorship with the guy because, I was always looking up on like TikTok and stuff, how to find stuff. So really with the first couple deals, it was under a mentorship with somebody else. But to be honest, with those first couple deals, I say I made that amount, but it was more of a learning experience. He actually took a lot more of the profit than I did. But the thing was, that was the deal that closed under escrow, but I ended up actually taking up a couple thousand out of it. But it was more of a learning experience for me. So when I went on my own, like independent, these like last 2 deals, these 15,000 and 5,000, these were all on my own. I've learned from him and I gained the knowledge I needed to gain, and it helped me out a ton.
Good for you, bro. Dude, congrats, man. And you're only 19, right?
Yeah. And the thing was too, I felt like when I went under mentorship, it helped me a ton because, if I were to do it all by myself, I don't know exactly what I would have to do, what I have to say to the sellers and everything. Yeah. So it kind of helped me out a ton, and now we actually have a ton of deals we're going to have in closing in escrow. Like I just checked today with my accusation team and they said we have 4 deals ready to be closed in June.
Boom, dude, what a hustler, man. All right. So Antonio, let's talk about your first wholesale deal, dude. How do you find it?
So on my own, actually, the one that we just did for 15,000, I actually found this through SMS. And it was funny enough, like the day before, a good friend of mine named Gabe, he hooked me up with this Roar SMS, like texting script and everything. And actually, I just implemented it the next day with my high equity absentee list. And it just came to the text. We texted up, I think it was like 3,000 people. And we got a guy, he was like, yeah, I'm here. I want to sell it for it was 210,000 firm. So, in my mind, 210,000 firm, as an investor, he ain't getting that. So, I was texting him a little bit because we do 2 marketing streams, SMS and cold calling. Okay. So we like to use both, but I was texting him a little bit, trying to build rapport. And this guy, he's an older landlord, he's a tired landlord. And his motivation, you could tell, was really high. So actually, to be honest, I was with my mentor too. And you know how they have the Wholesale Formula? Yep. Well, I actually, in this deal, I didn't use the formula. So it was a little bit different because the numbers were right. And it was a turnkey rental. So actually,
wait. Okay. Antonio, let's slow down. So for those that don't know, so what is the wholesale formula that you're talking about?
Yeah. So it's ARV times 0.70 minus repairs and then minus your wholesale fee.
Gotcha. Okay.
And technically I was talking to a bunch of people and they're like, yeah, bro, it's like the wholesale fee. You don't always have to do that. I was like, cause I was thinking, dang, I'm not closing at like that many deals doing the fee. So I took a step aside and I just did it all by myself, and I was like, let me just put something out, work the numbers myself, check the rent and everything. And I kind of just came to a conclusion, I was like, after reviewing everything, I would need to be at $200,000 to get this deal like signed and assigned to somebody. But when I went into the property to check it out, it needed a little bit more repair. So I was able to call him up on the phone and renegotiate, and we got him down to 185,000. And then we just assigned it over. But the thing is about that too, is like a lot of people think like they need to always check out the property before they get under contract. But what I was taught was, always lock up everything you can, and then you can always go back and renegotiate. That's the biggest thing, I feel like.
Dude, right there, bro. Right there. A lot of people are afraid to put the property on a contract at a wrong price. And hey, if I can't find a buyer, now I look back to the seller. I have to move forward to buy the property. No, you can always go back and renegotiate. Some people don't understand that. Right. Dude, bro, I agree with you 100%. So now the property, was it currently rented?
Yeah, it was actually rented out. And the people have been there for 12 years now.
Wow.
They've been pretty loyal to them. But the reason why the seller wanted to sell it was because, I think he said he was 80 years old. So he was getting up there in age, and he was across the whole state of Florida, because this is in Cape Coral, Florida. Yep. So he was in Fort Pierce, which is about a 2.5-hour drive. So he was telling me, he was like, the wife and I talked, and it was like, we could do 185 because you could see how like you want to get going with everything. I was telling him, hey, Mr. Seller, we have the funds available. We can get this closed in the next 30 days, as is conditioned, whatever price we can negotiate will be net to you at closing. And he was cool with it all. Because he's been doing this for a while. He's an investor as well. So he was like, yeah, sure, we can drop it down to 185. And then instantly like that, it's sold the next day.
Okay. So how much was he getting in rent?
I believe this one he was getting 1,300.
Okay, so 1,300. And what's the ARV on the property?
It was 255.
Okay, so ARV is 255. Okay, now, earlier, dude, you mentioned that you can't use the wholesaling formula on this deal, so instead you went another route.
Right.
So how do you figure out that the rental route is the route that you need to go?
Well, to be honest, because I was putting the numbers in the calculator and everything, and like what I came to a conclusion of was when I did the formula, I have to be at a way lower price. But when I went to the property and checked it out, I realized that the repair value and everything was very minimum. So it kind of like brought a thought into my mind, I was like, let me just lock this up and, let me see what I can do with it. Because, at the end of the day, you can always cancel a contract, and the thing was about this, and it's actually, I do a lot of my deals now. Well, I just locked it up and, we just sent it over to our buyers list. And, we actually have a guy who likes to buy stuff at retail, we found out. And so surprisingly, a lot of the deals that we get that's closer to retail, we actually send them over to him.
Wow. Good for you, man.
And
okay.
Another thing too is I found out about flat fee listing, that it kind of like changed a lot of our game too as well, because now you have a chance to put stuff, when you talk to a seller, obviously, to put stuff on the MLS and kind of get a higher price being in the seller's market now. So that's been a big part of our process too, is just trying to get stuff in the flat fee as well.
Right. So, Antonio, so if you were to go with the wholesaling formula, what would you have to put the property on the contract for?
I believe it was like 145, 150. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it was like that low.
Sure. Okay. Now, what's the rehab on the property?
I think it was bare minimum. It was about like maybe light, carpet paint.
Like 5K?
Yeah, about that.
Okay. So the rehab is 5K. So you got on the contract for 185. You have to renegotiate. Now, how much is the buyer buying it for?
The buyer bought it off me at 205. I think, yeah, 205.
Wow.
So the thing is about this is we kind of got into like a conflict, because I had already walked the property with somebody else, and they weren't interested after seeing the property, but I had to bring another person with me. So the buyer was like, listen, you already came and walked through the property with another partner. So in my mind, I was like, oh shoot, because as an investor, you want to get as much people, because now typically what I do is I try to like bring as much people as possible, but their own rules. So when I'm walking this property the second time, he's all mad. And the thing is, he wanted to actually cancel the contract, but I was like, listen, we have a signed contract and everything, we got to go with the process. I do this for a living, this is how I put food on the table. It's just going to take about 5 to 10 minutes out of your day. Is that fine? And he was like, yeah, that's fine. So
okay.
That helped me out a ton.
Yeah, good. So you sent it out to the buyer for 205. Now, the buyer, when they're buying this property, man, what's their intention to keep, obviously to keep it as a rental, right?
Yeah, they're landlords, so they like to keep everything as a rental, especially in the market, Cape Coral. A lot of prices are like double the amount now. So at this price, he's thinking like in 3 years he'll make double the amount back.
So he's one of those investors that buy the property and anticipate for appreciation.
Yeah. That's more.
Got you. Now, those of you who's watching this, if you're going to buy rentals, let me give you my opinion and my advice. All right. Do not buy property based on appreciation. Like, don't bank on appreciation. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to buy property that can cash flow you from day one. Don't buy this guy here probably have too much money. He either have too much money or he never been to a real estate class. So which is good. So because he's a retail buyer, because there's no investor that will buy this.
Right.
Because you're putting up 205 and you're only getting $1,300 in rent. Like there's no cash flow. Like you would have to put money out of your pocket just to, you know, just to break even.
Right. As a wholesaler, we see this as, is great for us because, at
Of
the end of the day,
course.
we're not losing anything. But for him, I'm like, come on, man.
Come on, man. Shit. Show me the money. But yes, so you guys have to look now. How do you find what I want to know from you is, dude, Antonio, how do you find retail buyers like this?
Well, yeah, actually, I was actually put in touch on Facebook with this lady. She was like, listen, I have a buyer. So, she DM'd me and everything, and I connected with the buyer. And actually this guy, I don't know how, he buys a ton of properties at retail, but it was from a Facebook group.
Now, is she an agent?
No, she just works in the company that buys, like the guy that bought the property. She's just the office manager there. But like what I did when I first started was I joined every single Facebook group in the area, as well as all the wholesaler groups. So every time I was like, didn't have a deal, I would always try to find buyers, and then when I found the deals, it was easier when the buyers came,
Yep.
And I think that's just preparation.
Nice. Yeah, no, for those of you who's watching, how I find some of my retail buyers is through realtors. Network with realtors. Realtors, they know other realtors that knows the mom and pop, or they know the husband and wife that looking for their first fix and flip where they don't, or their plan is house hack, where they're going to go in, they fix the property up, live in there for a year or 2 years, and then appreciates, sell the property, take the cash, and then move on to the next property. Those are retail's buyer. All right, you guys. Antonio, let's wrap this up, man. So, what are some tips, some feedback, or some lesson that you have learned, dude, that you can give back that can help whoever it is, can help them get to their first deal a lot quicker?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I would say you see a lot of stuff on social media saying like just find the rundown houses and drive for dollars. I'd say it's a great way to start, but eventually, I feel like you'd want to find good cold callers, virtual assistants that will be able to call the leads that you get. A friend of mine actually is, if you guys want to look him up, his name is Josh Chan. He has his own data company. He's charging 3 cents a record for 10,000 leads. You can pay $300, and they're really good. It's like 85% accuracy. And anyways, what you want to do is I feel like you want to stack up the amount of data you have and get a couple of virtual assistants, and then they can call all day while you're focusing on closing the deals. I feel like that's what benefited me a ton. And another thing is you want to get a good CRM that's going to be able to automate your system and make sure you schedule things throughout your day. Because I feel like if you try to do it yourself, you're going to get lost and you're going to lose a lot of leads that you had before. We actually just got the 5,000 deal from a follow-up lead that kind of helped us close the deal, because it was at the time he was not ready yet. So we just kept following up, threw him in a drip campaign, and then eventually he was ready to sell. And now, he made $5,000 just by keeping up with them. So I feel like you want to try to get your system automated, not to a point where you're not in the system, but you're still working on it while you have other things going with it. You want to have it flow like a factory almost. You
Nice.
have the callers calling here, you got the automated CRM here, and you got yourself closing these deals. And I feel like a lot of wholesalers nowadays only go with the driving for dollars, which is a good start just to find and reevaluate stuff. But you want to actually break down your system, and you want to work on the business, not in the business as much. It should be your end goal to work on the business, get everything smooth going down the line, and you just close those deals.
I love it, man. So, Antonio, let me ask you this question, dude. So when you say CRM, what CRM are you using?
Yeah, I'm actually using Mamba. If you guys want to look him up, his name is Blue Nose Brandon on Instagram. He has a CRM. It's $200 a month, and it's unlimited people. So, a lot of CRMs that you got to charge for each amount of person you have. It's just $200, and they'll automate all your, if you want to do SMS, if you want to do cold calling, they'll automate all that for you and integrate it into the system.
I see. Gotcha. Now, for those of you who are starting out, if you got no money or very little, I mean little, like you only have a few $100 or maybe $1,000, I use Podio. Podio is free. All right. You can download Podio. Podio is completely free. So now, dude, now my question to you is, when you start out, dude, did you have any money to invest?
Well, actually, I did a bunch of stuff in the stock market and stuff.
That's
and
why.
I took that money and I invested into the company. And actually, my parents and my brother actually helped me a lot in the beginning as well.
Nice.
We got really down bad. We got to a point where I was at $50 in my bank account, right? And it had me in that moment, in that fight or flight. But, I came here for a reason. And, when I first started, a lot of people were laughing at me saying, you can't do that. You can't wholesale this and that. It's a scam. But when I hit that $50 mark in my account, it kind of made me think, it was like, listen, this is like testing you right now. You're at that breaker point. It's really tempting you to see if you want to drop down and just forget about it or keep going. And what I did was I kept going, and now, it's up there now. We're running really good in this company. And I feel like a lot of the thing too is, if you guys are just starting out, we have a free mastermind Zoom call every Thursday. It's run by Josh. It's at 7 p.m. And yesterday we just had Steve Trang talk on the podcast, and a couple
nice.
Where we had Carlos Reyes.
I love Steve and Carlos. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'd like to have you out there too, Khang. I mean, it's at 7 p.m. every Thursdays.
So, dude, Antonio, man, my question back to you is, when you first started, how much money did you have to invest, and how do you get, I know you mentioned that you hook up with a local mentor, but do you have to spend any money?
Actually, no, he was a family friend of mine. So I was just kind of in his shadow a little bit. But when I first started, I only had around, it was like $10,000 to start. Okay. And what I did with that was I invested into the 2 cold callers and a good list, and then I had my dialer of Zen Call. And I just had them on the dialer, just calling all day. And then that's when I dropped down. When I reached that $50 mark, I was like, oh, shoot, But eventually what happened was the next week we had that closing of $15,000. So, I knew it paid for the whole list and everything,
Got it.
And now it's just all profit.
I got you.
And actually, we just got word today that we're going to probably be closing on this 6-unit duplex and a vacant lot right next to it for $140,000. And the ARV of it is $400,000.
Oh, bro, congrats, man. Now, listen, some of you are going to watch this and say, well, Antonio got 10 G's, Antonio this, Antonio that, or whatever it is. Listen, when you don't have the money, there are ways you can do it, which means you have to do a lot extra work. You have to do the cold calling yourself. You got to pound the phone one number at a time because you don't have money to pay for all this system, right? So you just got to pound it one at a time. And listen, man, even if you got a 10 G's or 5 G's, I would still go through the dirt, which means, dude, you got to make that 10 G's or 5 G's last you as long as possible. And you need to focus on using that 5 to 10 G's for pulling lists and for skip tracing. You shouldn't worry about, trying to get all this automating system. Shouldn't worry about hire VAs or cold call or none of that. Dude, you just got to pound the phone and do the work yourself, because no one's going to care about the lead as much as you are when you're on the phone, especially when you're starting out, when you need to stretch that 5 to 10 G's as much as you can. Dude, I was a one-man show for a very, very long time, but I did it for too long. All right. Because I was making like 50 G's a month, and I was still a one-man show, work on weekends and all of that. Okay. So basically there's just no excuses. You either have results or excuse, choose one or the other. Okay. So don't think Antonio's starting out with 10 G's or whatever, and you're like, I don't have any money, I can't do this. Whatever, you're right.
G's too, as well as I had my parents and my brother help me invest with it. I told them, I was like, listen, if you just help me out in the beginning, just know that we're gonna be successful in the end of it all.
We're gonna be rich together, baby. All right, listen, Antonio, dude, how can people link up and connect with you, dude?
Actually, on my Instagram at AntonioLafata.6, and then we are actually just in the process of starting our YouTube channel as well, which is going to be Antonio Lafata, as well as the TikTok channel. Nice, congrats, bro. That's huge, dude. The guys, if you guys want to come check out the masterminds Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it's usually around 50 people, and there's usually like a 7 to 8 figure speaker every week. Woo. Nice. All right, bro. Thank you so much, you guys. For those of you who one more minute, man. Yeah. He likes your videos. He likes your dancing videos. Oh, thank you so much for the love and support. And what's your dad's name? Vince. Vince, what's the catchphrase? Make this money. Thank you, you guys. Until next time, take care. Ciao. Much love. Yeah, bye-bye. Much love.